Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to ClassHorrorCast. If you don't know me by now, you should. But if you don't, I am the Raptilian, sir. I am the Tomcat. I am the Tom Thompson. Who am I joined by? Obviously, the host of this show.
The horror boy. I feel like we're going to have to call ourselves the horror boys now.
Yeah.
And I really need to work on some sort of like t-shirt design.
We need a horny for horror t-shirt. It's got to happen.
Definitely need that. And I feel like, you know what, I was like pandering to like people by saying, oh, we can't just have a horror boys t-shirt. But guess what? It's our show and we can, so
why not just do it? We got to think of a cool design though.
Yeah, that's key to it. You know what? I feel like I haven't done this in so long. I like the fans probably won't, like the audience won't realize too much, but like, whew, dude, I feel like I've been out of the game for like a long time now. I'm like, what's this podcasting thing?
I know, it's only been 2 weeks though, technically.
And we had gotten such a like, whatever about you, because you've been consistent for a long time, but like,
always.
you had finally dragged me onto that conveyor belt, and I felt really good about it.
Yeah.
And then everything just went like.
I know we're back at it, and you better stick back at it.
Yeah,
at least till the internet crashes one day.
This time though, it's going to be even better.
Yeah,
because now it's not for it's stuff behind the scenes, but Tom will know what I'm talking about. I've finally cut off this like massive dead weight, so I'm like
I thought you said back, cancer. It's not. I'm like flying
cancer. Back up to like put my head above water again. I've been in the like abyss.
Yeah, like you're Superman, and he takes off the glasses and he shoots up into the air. And now he's in the clouds.
Yeah,
and then a
so
plane
that's where I'm at right
that's
now. Like, so I really think this time it'll be even better.
Yeah, so we have a lot of stuff coming in. I'm so stoked. So this is the first ever off-brand episode. So this will be a segment, so to speak, like an episode that will come every couple months, and we're going to do something off-brand. Hence the name. So something that is not horror movie related or horror related, which there's tons of other stuff that we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing, you were thinking of the idea of we're going to do like a monthly kind of breakdown of horror news. Horny horror news.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's actually not bad. Yeah, because that could be like the segment.
Yeah, people are going to think we're talking about like some horrific shit to do with people being horny.
Or they may think something else about the two of us.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Which I don't want them to think.
No. So it's going to be fun. Like, I'm excited for this because there's certain movies that I would love to cover that are not specifically horror. Like, at some point, we had talks about doing a Clockwork Orange. I would love to cover that movie. Saw that movie when I was way too young. So stuff like that we'll be able to do through this series that we're going to be doing off-brand. Now, you won't hear it that often, but every like 3-4 months, we're definitely going to shoot some off-brand episodes out there and do some stuff that we really do care about and movies that we really do love. So I absolutely love this movie.
Also, anybody who's watching the video aspect of this, give Tom a huge round of applause for this badass background. I really like. I'm just going to give you one single like.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. We're on like a VHS essentially. It's pretty cool. And then I like cut the little guys out in there. This movie's fucking awesome, man. Like, I've always loved this movie. I don't know. And going back to it was awesome because I probably watched it, I don't know, like 3, 4, 5 maybe years ago again. And I was like, still great. But let's get ready to dive into the world of Small Soldiers. The action-packed adventure film released in 1998 captured the imagination of audience with its unique blend of comedy, fantasy, and thrilling action sequences. Directed by Joe Dante. That's probably not how he's... sure. Dante. Oh, it's Joe Dante. It needs the hyphen. Famous for his work on films like... Is that his name? The guy from Gremlins that did Gremlins? Is it Dante?
Yeah, that's him.
Small Soldiers is a true gem in the world of family-friendly entertainment. It was crazy. This was not supposed to be as family-friendly as we now know it as.
Yeah, and you know what, right? So this was going to be like, I was going to say part of my argument, but it's not an argument really. But more like, I always felt like, I was like, you know what? You could very easily turn this movie into like some weird like teen horror movie kind of thing, because it definitely has aspects that were probably left in. But I feel like, right, from rewatching this, I've seen this movie so many times, but from rewatching it last week or the week before or whatever, it's really like it is like one of those things like pulling something from a time capsule, because this to me, movies like this and Addams Family and things like that really like epitomize what it was like to be a kid in the 90s and how different movies were.
I agree. I actually wrote that down. America in the 90s vibe at the beginning kind of thing where, because we're watching stuff, we write notes and stuff down. And it's just, I will say something controversial like I always do, but like the only black character in this movie is an action figure, really. So like, it's just like the wholesome American white family. Like really, that's what the whole premise of like the film is. Like, it's just your average white American family that owns a toy store. And I don't know, like, not mean to sound racist at any means at all, but like, it's just kind of, that's what the 90s was, other than certain movies, obviously. I think diversity is good to an extent, but not if you suffocate people with it. Like, and don't try to force it either, because we're seeing that now more and more often. As my opinion, movies now, most of them are trash, awful, garbage.
Yeah, like this is it. Like, in movies like this came out and nobody gave a shit about, like, it was just about seeing a fun movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't about all that other like politics, which is like, and it's definitely lost now. I mean, like, if you're what did this come out in 1998? So I would have been what, like,
I would have been 7 years old,
6 or 7 years old. So I mean, I look at now, like, I have a 9-year-old kid, and it's like, the shit that they're trying to push on them.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just like
everyone
shit,
is aware of it.
like,
Everyone can
so
see it.
Bad.
And we never mean to bring up politics, because that's kind of meant for my show. But everyone does see it. Everyone does see this woke culture. It's a cancer. Like, either way you want to slice, it's not good for society as a whole, and it will actually cause the collapse of society pretty soon. But, maybe we need that. Maybe we need the cards to fall,
Just like a great reset. But it's definitely, I don't know, it's just boring to me now. Like, there's...
I've watched some recent movies, and I don't know.
Have you seen Saltburn?
Chelsea watched it. She liked it. I refused to watch it.
I actually liked it way more than I thought. Like, I was like refusing to watch it. I was like, I don't want to see this trash. And somebody told me about it, and like, they went on about it so much. I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a go. And I actually came out of it going, I actually enjoyed that.
Did you give it the 5-finger shuffle for the bathtub scene?
I didn't, and I really didn't. To be honest with you, I feel like that was like blown way out of proportion.
That's
like,
what Chelsea said.
Oh my god, I like had to stab myself in the eyes, and like I had to go and like jump off a bridge because I seen all that stuff, and I was like, not like, I mean, motherfucker, if you watch Human Centipede 2.
That has to come at some point, because I've never seen them, and even Billy was surprised, my co-host of Strange Brew, that I never saw it.
He would be so funny to have on number 2.
Dude, we got to do
he
like...
would be hilarious.
Maybe we should do, for all the fans out there, maybe we'll do a talk about one, but me and you will watch it together for Patreon. But then for number 2, we'll do a commentary for the main show, and Billy can be on that stuff. You know what I realized? I realized recently with my podcasting, I'm kind of Italian in the way I talk. I always use my hands. I noticed that recently more often, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't see many people do that, but I'm always like, so animated.
I never noticed that. Now I'm probably going to notice it all night.
So this movie was produced by Steven Spielberg. Like, it's a big action-packed thing. And my thing wasn't to disparage anybody when I was saying, like, it just reminds me of what it was like to grow up when I was a kid. It's just like these 90s movies, and not saying that, like, I wouldn't give a shit if there was 5-10 million black people in the film, as long as it's good and made well. But it's just like this kind of like Kirsten Dunst is in it, Gregory Smith, like these like, I don't know, and this was after, I think, this is what kind of start propelling Kirsten Dunst, where the fuck pronounce her name, more into like fame and stuff like that, I feel like. And this movie is a blast. It's a perfect time, like a limit and all that stuff. It's a fun time.
It's I think even still, like, it's obviously, people who grew up in that era would know, but like I think this definitely holds enough merit to like still be around today.
Oh yeah.
Like I showed my kid this, and he absolutely loved it.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
And
there's so many fun characters.
Yeah, and I feel like look, and it's I feel like I'm harping on about this a lot already, but like a sign of the times where like I think at 9 years of age, when he got to watch this a little while ago, it was like, obviously it's a kids movie, but I think to him, considering what's out there nowadays, it kind of felt like watching like a big boy movie.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's like nothing too ridiculous in it, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think it's kind of fun. I think it's cool, and this will be a movie that I'll definitely show my kids. And it is a fun family film. I suppose it wasn't supposed to start off that way. I think we do get into it in a bit in my notes. But realistically, like, this was something that was in my childhood. I remember the action figures. Like I had like most of them. I think. Yeah.
I had no idea where they went.
Me neither, because I'm not gonna remember all the characters' names, but I either had Archer or a really good friend did, and I would play with it all the time because I thought it was cool. It's like, oh my gosh, it's just like it was the same size, right? All the toys were kind of awesome, and they kind of targeted this well for.
So, who's your favorite character from the Gorgonites? Archer.
Yeah, well, Archer's kind of like subtle, quietly spoken kind of leader, which is weird because he's kind of a pushover, kinda.
Yeah.
Right? To an extent.
I remember as a kid playing with that fucking, you had him up on screen there a second ago, and I don't know what his name actually is. The dude, did they end up rebuilding him all fucked up?
Oh, yeah.
On the right-hand side?
Yeah.
Did he have like a club for an arm or some shit?
Yeah, club for an arm.
I don't know. What was he called?
I'm going to look up the characters.
It's not Insaniac, is it?
No, Insaniac's the other guy. That's what I was going to say. He was one of...
Troglycon?
Troglycon. Do you have it up right now? I don't know where I would find all their...
And as regards Commando Elite then, is it the obvious?
Oh, yeah. Major Chip Hazard. Major Chip Hazard. Yeah, but honestly, there's some like memorable characters, like the guy with the headset on, like
they're so cool.
God, like whatever that one guy's voice is, like, oh, we gotta load it up, partner. Cab, I have it wrote down here. Just give me a sec. Tag him and bag him, or whatever that weird guy says. What is it?
Yeah, so for the Commando Elite, we have Chip Hazard.
Yeah.
Kip Killigan, Butch Meathook, which is the huge muscly dude.
Bitch Meat. What's his name? Sorry, back on Bitch Meat Hook.
Butch Meathook.
Meat Hook. That's a weird name.
Link Static. I think that's the guy you were talking about with the headset thing.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
He's like the communications. Like
he's just got the character's funny. The voice is funny.
Brick Bazooka. Or maybe that's the big dude, is it? Or is that the black guy?
It might be the black dude.
Nick Nitro. Oh, wait a sec now. Is Nick Nitro the guy with the headset? I don't fucking know, dude. Is that all the characters there?
I think so. Yeah.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, so we're missing one. Oh, this guy.
Oh, that's Nick Nitro. Yeah, he's the guy that does all the demolitions.
Yeah, his big ass bum chin and that hawk on him.
He's so ridiculous. Do you know what, though? There's it's such a cool idea and like so marketable for like action figures.
So is like there's so many, like I remember, like I definitely it's so funny because I can't remember if I had which ones I had and which ones friends had that we would play with, because I feel like I didn't have Chip Hazard, but somebody else did. And I remember I remember this specifically, this toy that's on screen right now, the little gun in the holster. It was awesome. I thought it was so cool because like you watch this movie and these toys come alive and then they battle, right? And then you get to own them at home. You know, it's not the same as like I love the Lord of the Rings action figures and I had them, but and, you play around with them, so fun. But like it's not the same because it's not like these things were made to scale of like the same kind of size as they would have been in the movie, which was awesome.
Yeah, that was I think a really unique part because obviously, like if you get an action figure of something from Lord of the Rings or Batman or whatever, it's obviously not to scale.
Yeah.
And like they're not toys. Whereas the main character of this movie is a set of toys.
I wonder what happens to the guy with the big dude's head, because he has like a thing on. We're looking at the toys right now. It looks like he flips his head.
Oh, isn't one of those like, did his head not flip and it was a similar expression but he had a cigar?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's funny. Like, so cool. I feel like they'd be worth a lot of money right now, especially if they were still in the package. I definitely had someone who had Slam Fist, one of the Gorgonites. I definitely knew someone that had him, and we used to like launch because you could launch the ball from his like fist. You could like shoot it off or whatever.
I feel like that about a year ago, I was like looking up small soldiers.
I'm wondering if it's how expensive they are.
Figures, because I wanted to buy them again.
So let me start. Like, we'll start breaking some of this stuff down. So with Spielberg's involvement, Small Soldiers had high expectations and successfully delivered a unique concept to audiences. Special effects in the movie were groundbreaking. Like, I know some of the CGI, but it's not mucky. Okay, it's not bad. There's nothing that I'm really like, ooh, that's like, that's. When you look at some of the Star Wars, the Phantom Menace, you're like, ooh, well, it doesn't look good anymore.
Yeah, some of that is painful. I think this holds up really well.
I think so too. I really enjoyed it. I smoked up, had a beer while watching it, and truly enjoyed it because it's pretty cool. There's one of the special effects.
Look at that! Like how look at that!
Oh, cool!
Look how cool that is! Like, and imagine, especially maybe not so much now with the invention of like iPads and shit like that. Kids are like, "What? I don't want that fucking bullshit." But in the 90s, toys were so fucking badass.
100%. And like this idea that people are sucked into their phone and technology. Like, when we have kids, I refuse to give them a phone until they're like 16. I don't care what they say. I'm going to be like, no.
That's why I wish I hadn't have ever allowed it to go down that route of like having an iPad or anything like that to watch like, videos on or play those dumb games, because my kid now at 9, if I suggested the idea of like, let's go buy a bunch of toys and play with them, he'd be like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, see, that's the I don't know if you've watched recently. It was quite enjoyable. The Cat Williams podcast he was on.
Yeah,
so good, man. I've always liked that dude. Was one of my favorite comedians of all time. But he's like the iPad generation, man. They can't read. Like, there's like the generation Y and the next one, whatever the next one is. They can't even like read. And it's because like, and I've watched videos of teachers and people who work with kids, and they're like the ones that are have unlimited time on their iPads and can use them whenever they want. They're actually less intelligent. They can't read, and the ones that are extremely limited have a greater intelligence.
Which is fucking scary.
Yes.
I don't know if we mentioned like if somebody has been like living under a rock and for some reason you're listening to this show and you haven't heard of this movie. The basic plot line.
Oh, yeah.
So it depicts two factions of toys which turn sentient after mistakenly being installed with a military microprocessor, in turn putting both families two families in danger when one faction turns lethal.
Yeah. David Cross, you put munition chips in toys? I actually wrote down, I was like, fucking David Cross, because I think David Cross is the shit, man. He's decently funny. I like some of his stand-up. But also, his character in this movie is kind of like the perfect like nerd creator of these toys, and how he wants them to be like a cool thing that kids can enjoy and teach them about, like, harmony and like educate them and stuff like that. And then they flip it on him and they want it to be like action hero, action packed. They can talk, they can walk, they can fight each other. Let's bring the military aspect into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like when they have what's the dude's name? I'm trying to think. I can't find it now. The guy who owns the fucking company or takes over the company.
Oh, yeah. The douche. He thinks he's like the coolest guy in the world. He comes down in the helicopter at the end.
He's a pretty famous guy as well.
He's got to be in the credits.
Because he's been in a lot of shit, right?
Yeah.
Dennis Leary?
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
Dennis Leary thinks he's the shit and everything anyways.
But I love that like whole back and forth that they have at the start.
I know, so funny.
Where he's like pitching the Gorgonites and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, they're like peaceful." And he's like, "Yeah, garbage. we'll use them to be like the cannon fodder for the cool badass
Dennis
commandos."
Leary, that guy looks like a maniac, man.
Yeah, he kind of does look
like Dick Miller's in this. Like, there's so many good people. Like, it's a pretty good cast, actually. Like, Phil Hartman's in this stuff, man. Phil Hartman. I wonder if the Illuminati sacrificed him.
I would love to do an episode on him.
There's definitely
That dude had it bad.
conspiracies.
That dude had it bad.
I know. There's some wild stuff to do with that. And this is kind of crazy because both Dunst and Smith, like Gregory Smith and Kirsten Dunst, stand up performances, adding depth and authenticity to the characters of the movie. Because I actually like, if somebody's watching this or listening and you've never seen this movie, like definitely go watch it. I'm just going to be honest at the end, whatever. I'm going to rate it like 8, 9 out of 10, man. It's like a gem. It is like a unique film. You don't get many films like this that are so memorable and just like keep the pace. And you're like, it's like there's kind of cute parts when like, the cat licks Archer and he's getting to realize and know that the toys are real. Like when Gregory Smith's character, what's his name, ends up Alan Adberrynathi or whatever the hell this is. Adbernathi.
Oh, yeah, no, because I actually went back to look at it to find out what is it again? I have to look at it to see. Alan Abernathy.
Abernathy, yeah. Cause
such a fucking American name.
Well, and when he's first starting to discover like that the toys are alive, is like the coolest thing. And then he's like, where are all the other Gorgonites? He's like, they're hiding. And then they like appear and shit. So good, man.
He's also like your like quintessential like 90s America kid.
Oh yeah, for
with
sure.
That like bowl cut with the like center parting, like the checkered shirts and stuff.
When did this guy play Superman? Superman and Lois. Oh, I was like looking at his IMDb.
No, and I had also felt like he was in other things around that time, but when I went and looked up, there was nothing there that like jumped out at me.
No, me either. Interesting. Yeah, I don't see anything that really stands out to me. Realistically, I think I only knew him. He's in Big Bully. That's funny. Harry and the Spy. I feel like I knew him from Harry and the Spy, kind of, but mostly like I know him from this movie. This is the movie that I remember when I was a kid. It's just funny that I remember this scene where I was like, it's funny because like there you go, like a good feminist. Take down the patriarchy. Because like, Kirsten Dunst saves him, kind of thing. And like
that image there, it looks like some weird like backwards rip off of like Terminator or something, and he looks exactly like the dude from fucking Hocus Pocus.
Oh yeah, that's true. They all have that haircut, man. That bop, bop, bop. The fucking Hansons, man.
I feel like if we had been like a little bit older back then and had been like in the same area, we probably would have been like, do you remember Ice and what's his name from Hocus Pocus?
It's not Ernie, it's Ice.
It's like,
so funny. Oh, I would have been, man. And for the fans that don't know, I was definitely a wannabe gangster. Obviously, I do hip hop, so I've been doing it a long time. So it gave me an excuse in my head to dress ridiculous. And I remember in grade 9, I showed up to the smoker's pit wearing a full blood outfit, like what Bloods wear. And all my friends laughed. And it's funny, for my whole life, I've always not cared what people thought. I didn't care what they thought when I wore makeup up to my eyebrows and I was super emo. And I didn't care when I dressed like a Blood after I was like, I got to lose this emo shit and I got to become a rapper. So funny.
So the film was theatrically released on July 10th, 1998 to mixed reviews and grossed 71.8 million versus a budget of 40 million.
That's pretty good.
It marked the last on-screen role of Phil Hartman, who was murdered 2 months before the film's premiere, and the entire movie has been dedicated in his memory.
His wife murdered him, right?
Yeah. His wife was a lunatic.
So crazy, man.
There's a documentary called The Last Days of Phil Hartman, and it's actually like, I don't really get like, I wouldn't say I got emotional, but like I don't ever get like, that into documentaries or anything like that.
Yeah.
But from watching that from like a male perspective and like seeing the bullshit that he was dealing with her was like, whoa, now I kind of get it. It's called The Last Days of Phil Hartman, and it's really interesting. Like it talks about his whole thing with SNL and all the different things he was doing, and then all the shit that was going on in the background. Sometimes
I'm like, I forget. Sometimes I'm not my show. I'm like, ignore that black guy dick line. It's like,
at this stage, I think people just know.
This but I want to do.
Walker's final film.
What?
This was also Clint Walker's final film. He was the guy who voiced Nick Nitro. I think that was the dude
Oh,
with the
weird.
fucking mohawk with the big chin.
Yeah, and I was gonna say we'll end up doing like on Strange Brew like a Famous Dead episode about Phil Hartman because I think it would be interesting. It'd be something that like the wife would probably like to watch, like the documentary about him. But it's just kind of crazy because like there's so many cool performances. Like what's his name plays Chip Hazard. Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
This is cool.
So
like there's like some cool people in this and the fact that they put it together like this. And I was going to say it's weird how it's like mixed reviews. I thought it was
I know, right?
It's weird. It's like kind of the perfect kind of film when it comes to like a PG family friendly movie. You know?
There's the dad in this, Stuart Abernathy. He's played by Kevin Dunn.
Yeah.
And another guy who, as soon as I saw him, I was like, wait a second. I know him from lots of places. And then I went and looked.
Yeah.
And like he was in Ghostbusters 2. He was in, let's see, Beethoven 2.
Oh, great movie, yeah. Beethoven movies are fun.
Godzilla, the 98 Godzilla.
People hate that movie, but that was the only Godzilla that I knew.
Same.
So
and I actually like it.
I actually do kind of like it. Not gonna lie. Yeah, he's in a bunch of Transformers. Oh yeah, he's Shia LaBeouf's dad.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for Shia LaBeouf, bro.
Also, the little delivery dude, the little old man guy, because I feel like he is in a shit ton of stuff.
He's in Gremlins, is he not?
Yeah.
Oh, I knew it.
Dude, he is in a lot of stuff actually that I didn't realize. So he's
The Terminator. I just watched that.
He's in Gremlins 2, Piranha, The Howling, Bucket of Blood, Little Shop of Horrors,
Whoa, The Burbs,
Not This
bro.
Earth, Chopping Mall, Night of the Creeps, Quake.
Is Chopping Mall good? Because I've never seen that. I really want to watch it.
That would be a good one to do. It's fucking bizarre.
For like a commentary, okay. It's just so funny. Like as we talk about these films, if there's something I haven't seen, because I'm like I want to watch it, and I just end up not watching it, and then I'm like, should I save it just to like get my instant reaction? Yeah, Dick Miller, man, pretty wild, man. He was in a bunch of stuff, and this is cool because this will lead up to stuff like the Gremlins. Like next year, we'll have to definitely wait for around like maybe just after Halloween.
Here's another one I wanna put to you, and I would love to do it as the second episode of this like offshoot thing we're doing.
Yeah,
is the 90s Dennis the Menace movie.
Dun, dun, when he's like walking with his fucking switchblade.
Yeah, with fucking Christopher Lloyd. Again,
all right, let's do it.
There's an argument to be made there that you could turn that into a horror movie really quick.
I had that freaky song in my head. He
is fucking freaky. Do you remember the scene where the cop comes to talk to him and he's like standing outside a playground?
Oh, and he's talking to that weird kid with the bowl cut.
Yeah, and he's like eating an apple, and it's like the freakiest looking shit because he has all like this shit around his mouth. Yeah. His teeth are like yellow. And
all right, we're throwing that into the mix, but I will contest that we should do a Patreon commentary to that movie.
That would actually, I would probably enjoy that even more.
And see if we can put it on screen because it's behind a paywall, so we should be fine. So this is why you subscribe to the Patreons on both ClassHorrorCast and Strange Brew. We really would appreciate it. But it is fine because the movie does explore like the ethics questions regarding like technology and warfare, right? Like, should you be putting this type of technology into toys? Like, obviously, this was before its time in the way.
It was way ahead of its time.
When it comes to AI and stuff and having something that's intelligent, that can think and learn, and then you don't know, look at like Chip Hazard. He thinks he's in war. Like, he believes in that little machine mind of his that he needs to kill the Gorgonites and that's his sole purpose because that's what they programmed him to do kind of thing, right?
And like, it shows you how... Like, you know, the writers of this and stuff were quite clever about how they progress the story because, I mean, so I think is it in the bike chase scene where Nick Nitro or somebody ends up like dying and they can't save him?
Oh, yeah.
And then like they use his, remember they take his head and they like take the microchip out of his head and use that to like program.
Is it when they do that to program all the Barbies, man? One of the freakiest scenes in the
scary as fuck, but like it's that idea again of where like I think it kind of goes over your head obviously as a kid, but the idea that like they've become so self-aware and clever over the course of the movie that they realize that they can use like their own technology.
Yeah, and what
to like
so
make
weird.
more.
And when we were talking about this film and starting to do off-brand and specifically choosing this for the first one to do because we both absolutely love this movie, is we were talking about, we're like, yeah, the Barbie scene could be a horror movie when they like tie up Kirsten Dunst and all of her Barbies like go against her and start attacking her, and then they're like some of the sayings that they say.
Look at that shit.
It was like I wrote down, the toys are getting horny for Barbie. Because like the small soldiers, like the Commando Elite or whatever, are like, oh yeah, when they're like being made and stuff like that. Like there's definitely like innuendos, like sexual innuendos that they think they're kind of like hot, like they're bringing to life some women for them, right? And like you think about soldiers in warfare, they're probably gargling some penis on the way to the
so funny
to the war.
because like again, as a kid, a lot of that stuff went over my head, but like you would never get that in a kid's kind of movie nowadays.
Imagine,
like, you would literally be probably put in jail for 50 years.
I was going to say, imagine being in warfare. Like I just watched Full Metal Jacket again.
Yeah,
and like just being in like, you're just stuck with guys all the time. There's nothing but guys for like months and months and maybe years. So as soon as you see something kind of, you know.
Like even some of the stuff, like doesn't one of the dolls say to Alan, I had it down in notes or something, I was saying, you've been a bad boy and now you must be punished.
Oh yeah.
But she's like sitting on his chest.
And isn't that Sarah Michelle Gellar's voice?
Yeah.
Because I swear to God, I wrote that down. And I said, I did write that Barbie scene is pretty horrifying. Because it's just like so, like, especially some of their faces. Because they're so
there's
like
a bit
warped.
where one of them pops up and she has a head like something similar to that one that's on screen right now. Where like she has these freaky looking eyes. And she like looks at the thing and then she spins around and she's like, I think I overplucked my eyebrows.
yeah, so scary, man. That scene overall is like so weird and it's like clever because how can you turn your own toys against you, right? And then realistically, Kirsten Dunst is way too old to be playing with Barbies, man.
Yeah, or what do they call them in this? Gwendies.
Gwendies?
Yeah, it's the Gwendy dolls because they didn't want to
copyright
infringe. Yeah.
That's so funny.
There's a story. I don't know if you've heard of this. I'll give like a brief overview, but there's like a whole big thing. If you search it online, you can find out. Mm-hmm. So in the year 2000, filmmaker Gregory P. Grant filed a lawsuit against Steven Spielberg, DreamWorks Pictures, and Universal, alleging that they had infringed on a copyright of his 1990 short film. Grant claimed that he had met with Amblin Entertainment in 1991 to potentially expand his short film into a full feature. The project went as far as commissioning a treatment from Grant and a 16mm copy of the short film at Spielberg's request, but according to Grant, Amblin dropped the project. However, Grant added that Amblin pushed another film, at the time titled Toy Soldiers, into development nearly a month after his project was passed on. Grant's attorney stressed that several scenes and ideas from Small Soldiers were extremely similar and taken outright from Grant's short film and treatment.
I'd have to see it.
I don't know. I think they might have settled out of court. I don't know if it ever.
Do you think he paid him out? Spielberg's pretty rich.
Yeah, like maybe there's just like, this is not worth like the grief. Just fucking give him money and just go away.
Spielberg's probably a real creep, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know,
which is unfortunate because like I feel like a lot of my childhood was based around things he was involved in.
That's why, like I said in the one episode me and Billy were doing, this is a while ago, we're doing like a Valentine's Day episode, and I was like, everyone I love is turning into a predator, and he was like, well, the shoe fits. And I was like, fuck you. And he's wearing this like button up like pink shirt. And I was like, you look like you're ready to take your mom on a date, man. He was the fucking predator, you Ted Bundy looking fuck. It's just so funny.
Do you want to hear some of the taglines for this one?
Yeah, I was actually waiting for you to bring those up because that'd be exciting.
Okay, so the few, the proud, the small.
That's pretty good. I was gonna make a joke earlier. I totally forgot. But Small Soldier is also what Aaron calls his penis.
Oh, cool. Nice. Great.
Soldier.
Okay, right. So what is the size of the average major Chip Hazard action figure? Because you might be right.
Yeah,
I see like a
you know what?
12-inch figure.
yeah. You'd have to actually look that shit up. Small soldier figure inch. See what the fuck it comes up with.
Let's see what another one is. I'll give you some of the bad ones. This summer, join the Commando Elite. That's pretty generic.
Yeah.
Here's a good one actually that ties into what you just said. On July 10th, size isn't everything.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Again, you wouldn't get away with that as a tagline for a movie now. A kids movie.
Man, I'm looking at these toys. I kind of want one, man.
I know, so bad.
I want the Archer toy that I couldn't have when I was a kid. Because I feel like I didn't have it, somebody else had it.
Big Trouble, Small Soldiers.
Kind of like that.
Big Action, Big Trouble, Big Movie.
Yeah, kind of.
Big Movie, Small Soldiers.
Why are they using all the same stuff?
I don't know. That's the whole
big
album.
movie, Small Soldiers. That's funny.
I think my favorite one is on July 10th. Size isn't everything.
Yeah. It's just so many so many funny scenes and like.
Look how clever that is. Even
memorable.
The fact that the fucking thing is a jigsaw.
I know. And it's like the flag. We're looking at the image when Major Chip Hazard is like giving his speech about like they gotta find the Gorgonite scum. Like they would like speak like in a movie. It's kind of funny. And some of the special effects are actually pretty cool. Like I brought up some images, like just the way they would have to do it.
All crazy. There's a little 12-minute behind the scenes like making of documentary thing.
Yeah, I saw that
on YouTube for anyone who's interested to check it out. And it's just, you would not believe the amount of work and effort that went into like getting those things to look like they're alive.
I know, and now they're just lazy and they're like CGI everything. Let's take away people's jobs. I honestly would rather have practical effects. I said this numerous times.
Same. Give me movies like this any day.
100%.
Also, something I wanted to say earlier, and every time I watch this movie, I feel the same. Fucking Alan's dad, I would love to kick him in the nuts.
Oh, I know.
I hate his dad. He's like that whiny, like, bitch of a character. I'm like, oh, you're so fucking irritating.
And then the mom's got like more balls than he does when she's literally hitting the tennis balls, like the balls are on fire. So funny. It's just like there's so many like memorable things about this movie. Like even the soundtrack, War, what is it good for? Like they're like playing songs like that. The Small Soldiers had a memorable musical score composed by Jerry Goldsmith.
Also, Phil Hartman is brilliant in this. He's just like, it's classic. Every time I hear him in anything now, though, I can't help but think of Troy McClure.
Oh, I know. It's just his voice, man.
Yeah, it's just so bad. Like, you know, like, and like, obviously, Alan's dad in this movie absolutely despises him. And just like, he's like up on his ladder at the other side of the fence. He's like, oh, hey, neighbor.
Yeah. He plays that character perfectly. That's like one of the main things that Phil Hartman does is play one of those like kind of generic dudes that annoys you. Almost like, you know, like Ernest to some people. Ernest Warwell or whatever. Like, you'd be like, if having him as a neighbor, you'd be like, get the fuck out of here, man. Come on.
I would love to do something with Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yeah. I would probably do a Famous Dead on Ernest just because I grew up watching those movies. Yeah. Loved them. He smoked till he died. Didn't give a shit and let cancer eat him. He had no cares. This also pays homage to a lot of references to classic war movies. From even like the cinematography to even the dialogue, the film does pay homage to like kind of war movie tropes while adding a unique twist with its toy centric storyline. So there is like you notice some of the phrases that they use are from old war movies. It's kind of cool. Yeah. Like I kind of dig that.
Did you also know that Joe Dante, or Dante, whatever his name is, originally wanted the cast of Predator to voice the Commando Elite?
Huh.
So obviously Arnie would voice Major Chip Hazard, Shane Black would do Kip Killigan, Carl Weathers would do Butch Meathook. So that must be the black dude.
Yeah.
Jesse Ventura would do Brick Bazooka, Sonny Landham would do Nick Nitro, and Bill Duke would do Link Static.
Interesting.
That would have been weird.
I don't know if I would like Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Major Chip Hazard. Tommy Lee Jones did it perfectly. It'd be weird. You'd be like...
And for me, personally, it would have taken away that kind of like American Commando thing for it.
Yeah, I know. Some like, Austrian son of a Nazi.
Annoying. Did you also know that Burger King decided to market the film with obviously their like kids meals? Remember that in the 90s where you got like those really cool like McDonald's and like Burger King toys?
They used to be awesome.
Meals?
Maybe they were made by kids in China, but they used to be cool. Like, and now it's like you can get a puzzle. You know what I mean? Like something for your mind. They used to have cool McDonald's toys. Legit.
Like I brought my kid a while back and I can't remember what we got, and they were like, "Oh yeah, get a Happy Meal or whatever," and then we open it and it's like, "Oh, you get like a Pikachu Pokemon card."
I know.
What? Yeah, you get one Pikachu.
You used to get the
Pokemon
coolest
card
like toys you could build and stuff, like Transformer kind of things you could
There's
put
an
together.
episode.
Yeah.
There's an episode, coolest like fucking fast food kids toys. But anyway, yeah, Burger King wanted to like do like obviously the tie-in thing, so that I think they might have got the license for this one over McDonald's. And this was before they realized that it was going to be PG-13.
I didn't know that. I thought it was PG, which would make more sense to me. PG-13 is kind of pushing it.
Yeah, a little bit. The film was released soon after Oregon teen Kip Kinkle killed his parents, then went on a shooting rampage at Thurston High School in Springfield, killing 2 students and wounding 25 other people. The Kip Killigan action figure was then not distributed in Oregon at all.
Okay, what? This kid killed people because of an action figure?
No. This kid killed people. It just happened to be a coincidence, but his name was Kip Kinkle. And obviously the name of their character was Kip Killigan. And he done like a school shootout thing. So they were like, whoa, that's like too close to home to be like doing any sort of like...
Sounds like a weird synchronicity, man. I don't know, like things like weird, that is kind of...
Sounds like a plant.
Yeah, it sounds like a psyop.
Very
weird.
It does. But there's something we maybe for a short episode sometime we could dig into that, because I had never heard about that before now.
The name is kind of dope though.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to have a name like Kip Killigan.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Realistically, but you have to be someone famous. You can't not be someone famous with that type of name.
Yeah, true. Stan Winston, who obviously is credited as creating a lot of these effects and things for Jurassic Park and basically any good movie you know from like those time periods, Stan Winston and his studio had something to do with it. But he said that he learned a lot about the toy business because they worked so closely with Hasbro.
Yeah.
He was quoted as saying, "We found out what it really takes to make a great toy, to make it stand out on the shelf. We learned how the joints of toys worked, all the mechanics that go into them. The whole thing was an absolute education, and we helped to create a toy line that was extremely successful for Hasbro. In fact, ultimately, sales for the Small Soldiers toys outperformed all sales for the movie itself."
Wow, that's crazy, man. These toys
so
are cool, man. Ocula and stuff.
I think they made over like 100 million just on merchandise alone.
I knew everyone I knew. Look at that, like I was gonna say off-brand, literally. What's his name? The main Archer, like the fake looking, like that's weird.
I didn't notice that before.
Weird, because they would definitely have toys that were maybe you know when you go to the dollar store when you were a kid and there was those toys that were definitely rip-offs of like legit toys from movies or whatever, and they would just be painted differently. Like, and they would do that, right? They would sell these ones to like, I think the dollar store, and they would just change a couple of things about it in the in the factory in China, and they could sell for cheaper. And then they would have the other ones that were actually correct, the correct characters or whatever.
It's funny because in town we have like what we would call a Chinese pound shop. It just probably sounds so ridiculous to you, but
that does.
So like a pound shop here, before we went into the euro, Ireland had its own, and it wasn't the sterling. It was like the Irish punt. Yeah. So we dealt in pounds.
Weird, yeah.
Like the English do, like they have the English pound. Yeah. So we had the Irish pound. And our dollar store would have been called the pound shop or Poundland and things like that. Right, really
I'm
weird.
I'm taking her to Pound Town, bro.
But like now, like people still refer to them as that. So like they'll be called like the Euro 2 shop because everything is €2.
So weird. We have the dollar store or Dollar Mart or Dollar Tree Dollar.
But yeah, there's like a Chinese version that we have in the town. Well, it's just run by Chinese people, but
Yen?
It's like one of those like fucking
The Yen store.
It's one of those like cheap ass like Dollar Tree kind of places.
Yeah.
And I need to go in there actually. The next time I'm in town, I'll go in and take photos because they have an entire back section of the store has like all toys, and they have all that shit. Like they have this set that has like the fucking 5 Power Rangers or whatever. And like they're all painted all weird, and like all the symbols are not symbols, and then there's like Transformers and like Superman and stuff on the box art, and it's like Power Heroes or something.
Yeah, because they definitely did that. I definitely remember like the Power Rangers kind of stuff. Power Raiders, you know, like
yeah, it's just like so bad.
So funny. There's definitely episodes that I would love to get into. We've talked about this before, but like I think some going into some toys sounds weird, but like I just think it's kind of fun to talk about because we want to do a live special on this sometime. So everyone keep an ear and your eyes peeled like bananas for this, because I would like to do that when we keep discussing about doing is like the inappropriate toys. Like, cause there's so many, man. It's wild. Do you know there's supposed to be a sequel to this?
I didn't.
Yeah, the movie's success led to the creation of a proposed sequel. It's sad because although the sequel was considered following the positive reception of Small Soldiers, it never came to pass, which is kind of sad because I would have liked to see it. I would still like to see it. You know, if they could put it together, I would definitely go watch it. But like, I feel like they'd make it woke, but they wouldn't necessarily need to. Like, there's so many cool things you could do. And like I said, this could have been, it was PG-13. They could have made this R-rated and made it like just bloody and gory. It would have been awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's the only thing I worry about now. If they were to like do like a remake or try and like bring out a sequel, that they just make it like some dumbass.
Yeah, I know.
Because there would definitely be a cash in on that now. It's funny because for something that came out and it said like mixed reports and didn't really make a huge amount of money at the box office.
Yeah.
I know on probably all things considered, it probably made a massive amount of money, but just from the movie itself, like it only made what, like 30 million, which is not great.
Which is kind of crazy because like this is something that is nostalgic to me in my childhood. And I feel like lots of people could say that. There's some people in the chat that were saying that. So like, you know, I don't know. It's something that like I've always like loved this movie, and that's why I was like, oh, like we want to do off-brand stuff eventually. Like I feel like this was a very appropriate first movie to get into when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, me too. Like I mean, there's a lot of things that we could probably dig into about the movie, but like a lot of it's already been said. Yeah. I think. You know, it's like the movie is what, heading for 30 years old or whatever. Yeah. So it's like a lot of stuff has just been said and you're just regurgitating the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. And I just want to come at this and be like, I love this movie. I like it. It's enjoyable.
Same as me.
It's just a fun time. And that's why, like I said, I'll give it 8, 9 out of 10. Like this is something I could revisit, show my kids. There's so many memorable scenes in it. It's just the idea of the it's kind of funny. It always seems to be like, it also reminds me, like you said, of like Hocus Pocus, of this thing of, oh, I'm the new kid in town, and oh, I burnt down a school. Oh, I did this, and then the floozy is like
in my old school, in my old town.
Yeah, I was kicked out of 5 schools, and this is like it's just like Hocus Pocus. It's just kind of funny in that regard. And then you have the chick that's kind of interested, but she has a boyfriend. You know, it's just, I don't know. It's very...
And this is a really weird one as well, actually, because isn't Alan supposed to be, like, kind of younger than her?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because she's like, oh, hey, you're that, like, kid from my school.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, is she supposed to be, like, a couple of years older than him? So it's a bit weird, but okay.
Well, if we ever... we kind of talked about it way back when, last year, about now, on our Vampires episode, how weird it was... with the interview with the vampire with Kirsten Dunst, because that's weird.
Freaky.
Yeah.
So how many, what are we going to rate this out of?
How many small soldiers?
Yeah, there you go. There's a good one.
10. I will give it 8 8
out of 10 small
I'll
soldiers.
give it 8.6 small soldiers.
I'm going to give it 9.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's such a good
Small
movie.
Soldiers. Yeah, I can't, like, all I can base it on is just how much I love it. And I really don't have very many things to critique. And I think, you know, even though I mentioned about the dad character and stuff being like a really like whiny bitch, I feel like that was supposed to be, he was supposed to be like that kind of like bitch character. And like Phil Hartman, like he's really irritating and annoying. But like you said, that's his, like, he leans into that kind of character actor. Just even, like I said, the little dude who's like the delivery guy, and you always see him in those kinds of movies, and he just pops up all the time.
It's just memorable, and this is something like, this is a movie I love. The toys were fun to play with when I was a kid. I feel like I knew, like, everyone that I knew had at least one of the characters. And, you know, that's why it's like, to me, I classify this as a cult classic. I think it is when it comes to what it is.
100%.
For sure.
Even like the promo materials, man, for this, like the standees and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Were so cool.
So cool. And this is a start to a new series that I'm very excited about, because there's many movies that I would like to cover that are not necessarily horror movies, but maybe kind of close. And we won't be doing this too often because we want to stick to horror, but every 3-4 months we'll start pumping out some of these for the fans and for people that want to really enjoy just talking about movies in general and cinema, because, you know, there's stuff that's close to my heart when it comes to cinema, and I feel like we're able to extend a branch on our tree, so to speak, so we can actually do some of these topics. And I'm sure people will really enjoy this stuff, because there's stuff that we can definitely get into that is kind of it is a branch of cinema and ties into other stuff that we've talked about.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking forward to it. It'll be nice to do this from time to time.
Switch it up, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies there, and you guys are probably going to be getting a lot of movies from like the 90s, early 2000s. So if that's not your jam, then fuck off.
Yeah. If it's not your jam, slap it on with some peanut butter and eat it. I don't know if I got to talk about it.
Oh, God. It's not your jam. Listen to it anyway. Rate and review the show. Give everything 5 stars. Thumbs up, even if you hate the episode. It would... If you hate us, right, and you hate the episodes and the content we do, it makes us really upset when you share the show and give us 5 stars and all that stuff. That makes us really depressed. So keep doing that. Keep
doing it. We want, we have a lot of stuff coming, and we're going to grow this show as big as possible. And we have lots of ideas. Like, I have nonstop ideas. It's like they're always like you have a list. I have a list. We have all the stuff that I've.
Tom is like Rain Man.
I know, rambling Joe Biden. But I'm excited for everything that we're gonna do. I am. I truly am. So let's bring it to a close, because I never know how to stop talking.
And I don't actually know. I should have pulled up like some sort of quote from the movie to like leave that as like the final thing. Let me see.
Dibs on the chainsaw. That's one of the quotes. I also wrote they use corn picks as weapons. Kind of cool.
Let's see.
You put munition chips in toys? It's David Cross. That's why I don't know. That's a terrible impression of David Cross.
That was actually, do you know what though? That was pretty good. I think if you had said that to me with no reference point, I would have been like, oh yeah, I know exactly what that is.
Come on, bring me one. Bring me one.
Jesus, I feel like there's so many good ones, but I don't know what we would actually end.
All right. Well, stay horny for
We're not
horror.
toys.
Okay, what'd you say? Say it again.
I feel like the best one, probably the most memorable one that everyone will know is, "Are you scared? We're all scared. You'd have to be crazy not to be scared."
yeah. It's like that's from a war. I can't remember what movie that is. That's definitely from a war movie. But you know what to do. Please support, rate, and review, share it. Tell your grandma, tell your mom, tell your sister, tell everybody that you can. Tell your friends, everyone about this show, and get it out there. Especially if you are a horror fan and you love cinema and want some a little more entertaining than all the other boring stuff that's out there. So. Stay horny for horror, everybody. Oh, yeah?